Hello guys and welcome back to Layout. I'm David. I apologise for not being in front of the camera, but I seriously am in need of a haircut amongst other things. So once I'm all tidied up, I'll probably be back in front of the camera sometime soon. But until then, I'm going to hide behind it, and I've just got to start by apologising for not uploading so long on here. I've noticed I've still been getting some views and a couple more subscribers, so thanks guys for subscribing if you have. But no, I've been away from the layout for a bit. I moved in with my girlfriend for the past month, so nothing really happened since then. Before that, as you can see though, I got a heck of a lot of work done that I just wasn't filming, as I found I got stuff done a lot quicker when I wasn't filming it. So today we're just going to do a sort of summary video. It might be a bit long because there's obviously been so much happening. If you want to see everything in its full detail in the order I did it, then go ahead and look at my RM web. The link will be in the description below because I've been uploading on there pretty much every time I do anything. Cause it's just easier to take a photograph and type a quick paragraph than it is to film an entire video. Anyway, I hope I'm going to show you guys around the layout in enough detail today, and then hopefully I will keep uploading some more videos, maybe once a month whilst I'm home here at the layout, just a few little update videos. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, so you joined me at the station on the layout. As you can see, a heck of a lot of work has been done. Scenery wise, this is all plastered in with plaster bandage and sculptor mould. I made the formers out of cardboard and then put some tape on them, plaster bandage, sculptor mould. Just a few pictures of that here. Then obviously I've done the platforms. Here's a few pictures of platforms in process. They're just MDF covered in brick plasticard, and then the top stone paving plasticard as well. And then we've got these crossings here made out of matchsticks. So yeah, it's just a really brief overview of how the scenery went. Before I get into that in too much detail though, and I will be describing the scenery around the layout, you might notice the track plan has actually changed slightly here. Now before, this was two long straight sidings straight along the edge of the baseboard, whereas now they sort of curve in here, and just off camera this siding ends here, shorter siding here. Then down there, we'll get to the junction in a minute, but there is another two sidings up there. So the reason it changed is actually because I rediscovered this book, the Wenlock branch, Wellington's Craven Arms. Now, this is in no way for an advert for this book. However, it sort of inspired me because that's my local branch line, which now is the Horse Steam Trust, is part of that line. And you can see the track bed all around from different sections of this line, as well as the actual track that's still there at the Steam Trust. So I've known about it for years and years and years and years. And when I was actually flicking through this book, I'll see if I can find it now for you. I was flicking through looking at all the stations, and it's got a section on each station on the line. So that's what is now the Steam Trust, Horse and Orley. And then just a bit further down, past Lightmoor Junction, we get into Coalbrookdale. I'll come back to these photos in a second. But I was looking at this track plan, and trying to work out what the station was. I now know it's up the side of the gorge in Coalbrookdale, between the power station and the old Coalbrookdale works. But I was looking at this track plan thinking, that's pretty similar to mine, as in, it's got this nice curve at the front, then two sidings below the main lines, and a crossover here, two platforms. So what I ended up doing was curving my sidings down here so they conform to this plan a little better. Not perfect, because obviously this is a passing siding going into the works, whereas mine's two dead end sidings. And then I added these two little sidings here, just above the station, which we'll go and look at in a second there, down there. So the reason I did this is I wanted to be able to base the layout on something to make it look more realistic, because I found if I can look at a photograph and see how the railway was, i.e. photographs like this, and on the previous pages, it'd be easier to make it look realistic. So I'm not doing it 100% accurately, I'm just sort of doing my vague interpretation of Coalbrookdale Station. That's why I'm going to call it Coalorsedale. The spelling will be here, and this has gone through in detail on my RM Web thread. So let's just go take a look around this main section of the layout, and I'll show you what I've been up to. Okay, so I've gone handheld here, so it might be a bit wobbly, but here you can see the 2 extra sidings here. These will be little coal sidings, as they were originally. They're actually a much shorter sidings than they were originally at the station, which is all I could fit in there. And then we've got this little hut that might move, that's just plonked there to make it look pretty at the moment. This nice junction here will be in front of the signal box, which will just nestle in here. Then this little, it's going to be a gravel lane going up to the station car park, or well, small car park really, as we model it in the 60s. Just sort of gravel place. And then obviously this track is pretty much the same. Then we've got, as I said, the curved sidings, a slightly shorter one. So what I'm going to be building here is as close as I can to the station building at Coalbrookdale. I'm going to scratch build that. And then over here, I'm actually going to base on some sidings at Much Wenlock Station and Goods Yard. So this will be a little, I think it's limestone. It's some sort of quarried stone engine shed, small engine shed. Then over here will just be a good siding next to the hill here. Possibly have a cattle dock or something behind it. I'm not sure yet. Then over here we can see sort of main road that disappears under the raised section. This will be a sort of more tarmac road, and the rest will be gravel. And up here we've got a raised section, and this flat bit here will be where the station master's house is. Then you can see there'll be some sort of retaining wall back here with sort of bridge type thing there separating the raised section. I know I'm being really brief here. I'm just trying to get this video as short as possible and show you what I've been up to. All of this is just painted in Hobbycraft Brown at the moment, and obviously it will be getting a lot of scenic treatment over the coming weeks. And the platforms, they've been painted and weathered and stuff, but obviously I'm going to keep working on them. I'm not quite happy with the sides, but I think I'm going to leave them like this for the time being. Then once I've started weathering and ballasting the track work, we'll work more on the platform edges. Okay, let's move on to looking at the raised section. Okay, so we're up here at the raised section, the goods yard. And as you can see, I finally laid the track up here. Ended up adding this sort of reversing siding here that also acts as a trap point to stop shunting, fouling the main line. And then here we've got the 3 sidings in the raised area. Now I've got some computer mock-ups here of what I plan on doing. They'll be on screen now. But basically I'm going to make it a sort of my version of Coalbrookdale works, sort of mashed up with Horsey works. So if I open the book here, back to Coalbrookdale. Where are we? Here we are. So you can see we have all these staggered roofs and buildings from different times, and the railway sort of wraps around them. And that's what I'm going to model here. Lots of arched roofs and a few Northlight roofs and things like that. And that'll be a nice private goods yard with a small private shunter will operate up here, as well as some mainline shunters that might come up the incline. Okay, we're going to move around the layout now. So coming down the incline, we finally get to this last bit of scenic section, which was originally going to be a river, but now I've sort of had to base, or decided to base the layout a little bit on Coalbrookdale. This is now a brook. Now there's plenty of little brooks running through the Coalbrookdale Valley, or the Ironbridge Valley. This isn't going to be modelled as any particular one, this is more a sort of imaginary part of the layout, as in reality after Coalbrookdale Station we end up crossing the River Severn going to the power station. Don't really have room to do that justice, so I'm just doing my own little brook here. So it's been raised up on a block of foam, and you can see at the back we've got a bridge there, single track bridge for the incline. At the front here we've got 2 tracks coming over. These will be on a little viaduct, similar to the one that runs across Coalbrookdale. I quite like the look of that viaduct, so I'm going to sort of base my smaller viaduct here on that. And this is a crude mock-up I did for Iron Web to show what's going to happen here. Just a sort of cartoony sketch. Then of course over here we've just got the incline embankments and a hill here, which, as I said before, will probably have some sort of church on top, something like that. Okay, so that's all the scenic section briefly covered. Again, I'm sort of rushing through this. If you want everything in complete detail, as in step by step, you can look down below at Iron Web, my link to Iron Web, and that's got everything in finer detail. Now you can see here, there is a cut in the top of this incline, and that is because I've rearranged the Fiddle Yard, and this is what I got up to yesterday. Now before, if you remember, if I walk around here, the Fiddle Yard had 2 sidings coming down here, really long ones, and 2 sidings going off up there. But you had to reverse trains into them whenever you wanted to park them up. And this was obviously done because I hadn't done a layout in so long, I couldn't really remember how I like to operate them. And now I've been operating it, I realised I sort of need to have them as passing loops, so I can park trains and run around them. And also, you don't have to reverse them in, you can draw them in forward and just leave them there. So obviously this can be expanded. I was going to buy some new points to do this, but I ended up just rearranging all my old points. I've also loosened this curve a bit here, creating this nice S-bend that flows in. And I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Whilst I'm in the Fiddle Yard, I think I'll just show you some of my new stock. It's not that new to me, but I've realised I haven't shown this on the channel before. So I've got a Lima Deltic there that I've painted and weathered up. And I've also added lights to it, DCC fitted. And I've also started adding KD couplers to everything. Eventually when I get round to it and I have enough money, everything will be replaced with KDs. I've also got this 61XX here, as that sort of matches the style of loco that would have run down the branch line in reality. And then my short goods train behind it. And that's been painted away as well. That's a Hornby one there. Then over on the workbench, it's just a table with all my stuff, and I think that was there before. We've got a Class 04 from Bachmann that I won on eBay. And at the moment, I'm halfway through DCC fitting it. There's been a lot of palaver going on with that. Broke my soldering iron, then I broke a DCC chip. So I'm just waiting for a replacement DCC chip, and then I'll get that fitted and running on the layout. Now, you might have noticed the Western is missing, and that's because it sort of developed some dodgy running, and then I tried to replace the motor that was inside it with a CD motor, as many people do to older Lima diesels, sorry. But in the end, it didn't quite work out. So until I get that sorted, possibly have to replace the entire motor assembly again. At the moment, it just sits under the layout in storage. I've also cracked the underframe from that, so I might need to actually buy a whole replacement underframe. But once I've done that, I might as well have just bought a whole new loco, because Lima Westerns are quite cheap on eBay nowadays. So I don't think it's really worth it. Again, so I'm really rushing around the layout now, just trying to show you everything that's been done in a brief overview, so I can get on with some work and then keep you updated. I just want to update everyone really quickly. So obviously, once I changed the track plan, I needed new control panels. Now, if you remember before, I'd just done a video on building a control panel over there. Now, I found that was a really stupid place to have it. I originally had it there so I could sit on the sofa and run the layout, but you couldn't really see the points that you're operating. And particularly when I added this more complex junction here, I wanted to be able to be right in front of it. So I added this little table here. It's quite solid, screwed into the framework. Then on top, I've got this Caldersdale signal box, is what I've called this control panel. So we've got the track plan here for the station, as well as this smaller outline track plan there. for the point onto the incline. Now, I'm quite happy with this new design. I just etch in with a hot soldering iron. This also means if I ever add anything, I just scribe in a new line with a soldering iron, unless it's completely changed, and then I'll redo it. If we come around here then, I've now got some little satellite control panels. So this one runs Collisdale Works, as it says here. So we've just got the 3 points up here for the works. And then built into this fascia here, this is just 3mm MDF all around the layout. Hardboard, sorry, not MDF. All around the layout. Built in, we've got the lens. Obviously all my express nets are still there and my controller pockets. The one thing I do need to put back in is just behind here. I'll show you a picture, so I can't actually get it out. Just behind here, hanging loose, there should be a little panel here with the on-off switches for the 16 volts and 12 volt circuits. And that looks very similar to these. Yeah. Finally, if we just run back around the layout, again, just nice fascia across the front. It's going to be painted black, filled and sanded and stuff. We've got the final board, which I put in yesterday for the storage yard. Obviously, this is a very simplified track plan because there's only 3 switches. Now, one switch controls the crossover, one switch does both points at either end of this siding, one switch does both points at either end of this siding. Yeah, so that's that. I've been up to a lot. Again, if you want more detail, look down below at my link to Iron Web. Hopefully, when I edit this, I would have shown you some pictures of what I've been up to as well as my rambling on, just to get this short video out to show you what's happened on the layout so far. At the moment, I'm just waiting for a rattle can of sleeper grime, because I tried to run it through my airbrush, the Rail Match sleeper grime, and it was clogging too bad, so I'm just buying a rattle can. And I'm also going to start doing some stuff like fitting magnets for KD couplers before I get round to ballasting. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been a short rambling video just to show you what I've been up to. Not too much detail, as I didn't want this video to be really long, but hopefully now I'll get back into the habit of doing probably a layout update video. And then if you want all the details of how I'm doing stuff, check out Iron Web, because it's much easier for me to take, say, 5 photos whilst I'm doing something than it is for me to be filming constantly whilst I do it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.